What is up, y'all?
Corn, I don't know, man, if I have seen someone, and I think I said this a while back when he first came on the network, was I don't know if I've seen someone with the drive and passion to make it in the industry like I've seen with you. And
that's my boy, that dude 2020. I like the name.
The drive and fire and passion in some people is not quite there for this type of an industry because it's cutthroat. It's very, up and down roller coaster of emotion. Also, I don't know if I've seen a person, though, who probably has been so appreciative of a chance that they were given. Corn, like I've said, though, man, is, again, you're one of the new guys on this network. And again, I know that you're very appreciative, though, of me kind of giving you the shot here. But
how did you get blocked by LeBron James on Twitter?
I don't know if I've seen so much drive and energy and passion from someone maybe other than me for this industry. And
LeBron is truly a rising star in this industry. He knows his stuff. He's not afraid to go at people, and he's a guy that you want to go to bat for. And I'm so thankful that he's part of our network.
That is right, folks. That one dude, 2020, right here on the MI6 Sports Network in the hometown studios of Austin, Texas. The NFL draft just finished up, so we're going to go over a couple of picks from the draft that I like or maybe don't like, and then we'll kind of end it. It's a short 5 to 10 minute thing, but kind of want to go live on here to get y'all's comments, questions, or concerns. If there's any player from the draft you did or did not like, is there your team make a mistake? Did the Broncos make a mistake? Let me know what you did or did not like about these last couple of days in the NFL draft. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Number one, Trevor Lawrence shouldn't be a shocker. But again, this goes back to the same issue when the Jaguars organization are doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. It doesn't matter if you get 5 first overall quarterbacks for the next 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years. It all falls back on the organization, aka it all falls back on the ownership. If the ownership doesn't change, the ownership doesn't stay humble, if the ownership doesn't swallow their pride, it doesn't matter if you get Trevor Lawrence. It doesn't matter if you get Eli Manning. Substitution, it does not matter who you have at the quarterback position. I hope Trevor Lawrence does succeed in Jacksonville, but this does presume that there are a lot of questions, not necessarily complete with him. Again, you have rookie mistakes. But it's the organization here. You address the potential pieces on defense. Yes, you have Meyer, the head coach from used to at the Ohio State. There's some health issues there, so that can go into effect. You have the Colts, Texans. There's a lot of drama here. I love the pick by the Jaguars, but for Trevor Lawrence, I can't imagine who wants to be drafted to Jacksonville because you knew you're going to be the first overall pick. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But what is it about Jacksonville that people don't like? It's the organization. There's nothing appealing about Jacksonville. Look how they've handled certain situations with the players. The NFLPA warned that they shouldn't sign in free agency with this organization. So somehow, all of a sudden, we're going to believe that the ownership is going to change, that the ownership is going to let the head coach do their job and put the pieces around Trevor Lawrence. I'm not buying it. Do I believe Trevor Lawrence could be a phenomenal quarterback in the NFL? There's no doubt. I believe he can, but it still presumes no matter what decisions he makes, no matter what pieces they can put on offense or defense or special teams or on the practice squad, the organization, the front office, if they don't change mentally, their mental game, nothing is going to happen. We're not going to see the full potential of Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do I hope he succeeds? I hope he succeeds, and frankly, I hope he does, and I hope I'm wrong. When it comes down to I'm willing to swallow my pride when it comes to a football take. And if I am wrong about a quarterback and I am wrong about an organization, I'll come on here live on StreamYard on the MI6 Sports Network and admit it. But I'm not buying Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars. Not because Trevor Lawrence can't do anything, because he's very capable. We saw what he did in college. And college is different than the NFL. Can his talents translate from Clemson to the Jacksonville Jaguars? I believe it can. But the question is the organization going to let Urban Meyer do his job and put the pieces around him? Is the organization or the front office going to get in the way? Pull a Higgins, pull a Jerry Jones, says, no, let's go in a different direction. I think let's go get this player. Let's spend this much money for agency. Let Urban Meyer do his job and see what happens. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff contender because this is Jacksonville. They've had some pretty decent quarterbacks over the years, some decent running backs, some decent weapons. But again, look, I'll give you this perfect example before we continue on the show. You had Saxonville in 2017. That team was 10 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl and beating Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. How they handled the offseason? Look at the organization. Look at the front office. Look at the ownership. How did they handle that situation then? It is not swallowing your pride and not being humble. You have a tiny bit of success, and it goes to your head. So I hope the Jacksonville Jaguars organization doesn't have that same approach when Trevor Lawrence, when he sees a small bit of success. If he runs Rookie of the Year and they somehow make the playoffs in year 2 or 3, don't let it get to your head. Be humble. Continue to build this team. Continue to build this franchise. Continue to build this team around your quarterback. We saw it in 2018. We saw it with the Eagles in 2018 when they won the Super Bowl. Doug Peterson wrote a book after winning the Super Bowl talking about success. Was it being humble? No. Was it being prideful a little bit? Probably. But I wish the best with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. It's a great pick by the organization. But the main question is the organization going to fail him? That's another question for another day. But number 2 overall, of course, Zach Wilson goes 2nd overall to the New York Jets. And a lot of people from the media really make a genuine good point here, is that the organization more fails the quarterbacks than it's the quarterbacks that fail the organization here. We're talking from the past couple of, let's say the past 10 plus years. When's the last time the New York Jets made the playoffs? I'll wait here and I'll start texting on my phone. Oh, wait. I was in 7th grade. In the 2010 season, they made the playoffs. I was in 7th grade then. Folks, I'm almost 23 and a half. So somehow, all of a sudden, New York Jets are going to put the pieces. I believe that Robert Saleh is the perfect fit for the New York Jets. Shouldn't have hired Adam Gase in the first place, but I think he could be a good piece. Again, Chrissy Wilson says, I have no faith in the Jets. And Chrissy, you're right. And this is what a lot of media personalities are saying. It's not necessarily because Zach Wilson's going to fail them. I think it's the Jets are going to fail this organization, or the quarterback. Because think about it. You had Geno Smith their first year. They went 8-8, not too bad, over 3,000 yards, 20-plus touchdowns. So the future looks bright. A couple years later, you get Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think it's from Buffalo or another team right there that go 10-6, 11-5, nearly miss the playoffs. Ryan Fitzpatrick has a career year in the NFL. Could the tire turn around? Could he be a short-term starter? Chris Ivory, Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Leonard Williams, Cedric Richardson. This team could have been a team for the future. But again, the Jets, I know he's a much older quarterback, but look how the Jets handle a tiny bit of success in terms of a winning record. What do they do? They somehow mishandle. Now, I know Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't necessarily the best guy to be a long-term starting franchise quarterback, but look how the Jets handle a small bit of success. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a great year in terms of his career standards. I totally understand that. But what did the New York Jets organization do that offseason? They gave in to his demands and pay him a 1-year deal with $12 million. So if that's the same organization that did that, that's the same organization that believed in Mark Sanchez despite the defense that they had, you think they're not going to fail? You think that they're hopefully, and I hope I'm wrong, hopefully they let Robert Saleh do his job. I know we say the same thing with the Jaguars. This is important for these two franchises here. This has been a long time since the New York Jets have been to a Super Bowl. It's been who knows how long. Do I trust Robert Saleh? Yes. Do I think Zach Wilson? Maybe he could be something. But the thing is, with the type of pieces they got in this draft, who knows what type of offense that they're going to run. But as long as they let Robert Saleh do his job, because I understand you got Corey Davis, you got pieces on the other side of the ball. I get it. They have your number one receiving weapon. But with the weapon he had at BYU was Zach Wilson. That could be a recipe for success. But all I say with this last pick before we move on, let Robert Saleh do his job. The one time the organization gets in the way, that Joe Douglas, whoever is the GM, gets in the way, you're going to blow it. Robert Saleh has the potential. He has the intensity. He has the fiery passion that we haven't seen really in a New York Jets head coach in a very long time. That's what they need with the New York Jets. That's what the rookie quarterback needs. And I wish Zach Wilson the best with the New York Jets, but we'll see what happens with that pick. This next one here, as many people know, I've ranted about before. The Denver Broncos. They needed a quarterback. I understand they got Teddy Bridgewater on a trade for a 6th-round pick. The Panthers paid the rest of his contract. She got Teddy Bridgewater for practically nothing. Can we trust him to be healthy? We'll see. That's still a question mark at this point in time. With the 9th overall pick, you think, oh, maybe the Broncos could get Justin Fields. He fell right in your lap, in your fingertips, in the palm of your hand. But no. What did the Denver Broncos do? Instead, with the 9th overall pick, did they draft the quarterback? No, they drafted Patrick Surtain, the second quarterback out of Alabama. This is not me saying he isn't going to be a phenomenal player, if not the best cornerback in this year's draft. There's no question about that, in my opinion. The problem is we don't struggle on defense. It's always been defense, running game, quarterback needs to throw the ball a couple of times here and there, and we're good to go. But now you got Fuller in free agency. You got Ronald Darby from the Washington football team. You got 2 solid corners. Had great, semi-decent passing defense last year. Where would we go? Oh, we get a cornerback in the 1st round. At realistic 4 years, we're stuck with him. We're supposed to be in win now mode. We're not here to rebuild. We're not here to wait the next 45 years. We don't have to wait. I understand. I think potentially what John Elway was trying to do with this Denver Broncos team was somehow trying to semi-recreate that amazing Broncos defense from the 2015 season where they won the Super Bowl because of that defense. But this is 2021, John Elway. I understand you got these guys on defense, but the problem is Von Miller's getting older. Bradley Chubb in the next year or two, you're going to have to give him a contract here because he's in his 5th year, I believe, 18, 19, 20, 21. So after this year, you either pick up his 5th-year option or you let him go in free agency after this year. So what's really going to be your option here, John Elway and Gary Payton? I don't understand why you'll think logically drafting a quarterback, at least with the 9th overall pick, that made any sense. You had a future NFL star in your hands, the long-term starting answer at the quarterback position. But what do you do instead? You draft a corner who I'm not disrespecting him. I think he's going to have a phenomenal career with the Broncos, and I hope it pans out. But that's not our issue. We've always been very good at the cornerback. Chris Harris, Keith Tilley, beginning those guys. I think Keith Tilley didn't really start his career with the Broncos, but now, John Elway, I'm looking at you, buddy. Are you putting that much faith in Teddy Bridgewater? So I have faith in Teddy Bridgewater, but the question is, how is John Elway going to handle getting a quarterback? Didn't have to pay him much money. You don't have to really pay nothing. I'm ashamed. Christian Wilson says a cornerback. That's all the Cowboys wanted. I thought, Christy, I think a lot of people could agree. I thought Patrick Surtain was going to go to the Dallas Cowboys, and it would have been a phenomenal pick. And now Christy was like, remember the exact corner that they got. Now they needed that position. There's no question about it. But my Broncos, again, we all love trolling Dallas Cowboys fans. That's one of my favorite things in football. I get that. There's nothing wrong with trolling the Dallas Cowboys or Jerry Jones. But what's even more important than doing that is getting the long-term answer, not just for the next year or two. You have to think for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years. Yes, they're in win-now mode. You get Justin Fields. You have Teddy Bridgewater be that veteran presence. Release Drew Lock or trade him for next to nothing. Because he's not our starting franchise quarterback for the future. This is why I say pro football focus can be deceiving, or numbers can be deceiving. Say, oh yeah, he had 16 TDs, 50 picks, all terrible. First 2 years, just like Peyton Manning. Let's ignore the numbers. Just watch the film. You could have the best offensive line, receiver weapons, defense, but if you don't have good decision making in and out of the pocket, it doesn't matter. Like, your mobility is as stiff as Elmer's glue in the San Marcos hot sun. I mean, this is in the McAllen hot sun. McAllen, Texas is very hot during the summer, if people don't know. So now you have Teddy Bridgewater, who I like. But let's be honest here, Broncos fans. Is he going to be the guy? Even if potentially he wins the starting job mid-training camp this year, is Peyton and John Elway going to swallow the pride? Probably realize, hey, maybe Drew Lock probably isn't the answer at the starting quarterback position. Will they? Probably not. But this is still, I'm not completely lost hope at the quarterback position, because we know we've already talked about the rumors with Aaron Rodgers. We know that he's done in Green Bay. If it doesn't happen by July, I would be surprised. But I would love Aaron Rodgers to come to the Denver Broncos. And if Aaron Rodgers comes to the Denver Broncos, and I'll be coming up on here with an ice cold root beer right here, and we are going to be celebrating. But until then, John Elway, Gary Payton, my eyes are on y'all, because I don't understand what you're trying to do at all. And I understand what you're trying to do on defense. But on offense, I'm trying to understand. You get a running back in the second round. You do a running back by committee, which is great. But of course it is now. Depending on who wins the quarterback, the starting quarterback position in training camp, how does that affect the type of offense you want to instill with the Broncos? How does that affect the type of bread and butter you want on offense and defense with your franchise for this year? Again, number 7, the Detroit Lions, Patrick Chanel, offensive tackle organ. It's phenomenal, because maybe I'm just being dramatic, or I'm hoping for Lions fans, but just a little bit. The Lions are having a little taste of having a little taste of what it takes to have a semi-successful rebuild. They're in the process of truly rebuilding. Is Jared Goff their guy? And if he's not, it's okay, because regardless of who they have for their long-term starting inside the quarterback position, they address the offensive line. That's important. What was one of the main issues with Matthew Stafford with the Detroit Lions, folks? That was the offensive line. He kept getting injured year after year after year. 8 of the 11 years that he started all 16 games over 5,000 yards, we get that. How many times he got sacked? Ask Russell Wilson. That's one of his main frustrations, I think, right now with the organization, with Seattle. Getting hit before the 2020 season. Top 10 most sacked quarterback. And have 30 plus TDs every year. And still getting sacked time and time again. I don't care how great your quarterback is. Address the offensive line, and the Lions are doing that, so I applaud them for that without a doubt. But again, let me know any of y'all's NFL teams, the Jaguars, the Jets, the Rams, the Bills, the Broncos, or any team. What did you like about what your team drafted or what your team didn't draft? Again, a lot of ones here, but this one I love. At number 15, Mac Jones goes to the New England Patriots. And I think I was texting somebody today, or told him, it's like, it benefited Mac Jones to fall that far in the draft. Because would you want to go top 5 and have temporary success in terms of all these social media followers, but in the next 2 or 3 years, you're a bust? Would you rather want that or fall to the 15th overall pick to Bill Belichick? I told people this in October. Not that Mac Jones was going to New England. I said, trust the process with Bill Belichick. And I was calling out fake New England Patriot fans. Trust what Bill Belichick is doing. If it doesn't work out, then I will be willing to swallow my pride. But Mac Jones is in a perfect position. Yes, there's a lot of pressure. But what a better head coach for a quarterback like Mac Jones than Bill Belichick. I couldn't think of Mac Jones being in a better situation. The AFC East is going to be the toughest division, the most competitive division this year. Jets got Zach Wilson. Buffalo, because we know, got Josh Allen. New England got Mac Jones. This whole division is going to be really, really exciting. But the question is now, before we move on, where does Cam Newton go after this year? Is Cam Newton truly done as a starter in the NFL? Simple, my answer is yes. Even in his best years, even when he won MVP, didn't even complete 60% of his passes. He was basically a more longer sustaining Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick and Cam Newton, phenomenal runners. Very interesting to watch on TV on the field. But the problem is, both were not good passers. And that's the thing nowadays, is Cam Newton, as he gets older, he starts to become injury prone. Some people can say that, maybe I can give him the benefit of the doubt, goes back to the offensive line that the Panthers didn't instill necessarily in the draft or in the free agency or in the offseason, because Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded head coach. So I can give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I think Cam Newton is done as a starter in the NFL for any team. He's going to be a career backup from now on. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I congrats Mac Jones at 15 overall. But couldn't have been in a better situation than to be with Bill Belichick. Yes, there's a lot of pressure, but we learned behind Cam Newton this year with Bill Belichick, he couldn't be in a better situation in terms of having. Imagine this: if he went to, let's say, the 49ers or another team, it didn't, and I wouldn't have had a great career or had as good of a head coach that you have a Hall of Fame 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach teaching you how to be an effective quarterback in the NFL. That's a recipe for success. And then Chrissy makes a good point, and I'm still shocked not really shocked at this point that the Bengals did this. The Lions did what the Bengals didn't do or refused to do. Exactly, Chrissy. Draft Jamar Chase, phenomenal pick for the organization, but not for Joe Burrow's career. Pick an offensive lineman. That's the thing, is I'm surprised that the Lions are actually being smart and semi-smart in the NFL draft. And this is the frustration that Carson Palmer really had for a very long time, which is why he semi-retired in 2005 to 2006. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This isn't a surprise. The Bengals are garbage. Nothing is going to change. And this is what I literally just said 5 minutes ago about the Jacksonville Jaguars. It doesn't matter if you get Joe Burrow. It doesn't matter if you have that great quarterback, great weapons on defense, offense, special teams, or the practice squad. All falls back on the ownership. It all falls back on leadership. It all falls back on the organization. This is the same organization. This is the same leadership. This is the same front office that completely mishandled the Carson Palmer situation, where he basically halfway semi-retired, didn't sign the papers, he said, I'm done. I am no longer playing with y'all because you're a sad excuse of a franchise, and we can still see that to this day. The Cincinnati Bengals are a sad excuse of an NFL franchise. They should be arrested for fraud for pretending to be a franchise in the NFL. You've had multiple quarterbacks over these that were very talented. Carson Palmer and so many other guys over the years. I just don't understand what they think. What is going on in their head? I would love to interview a Bengals reporter. Maybe they can give me some crazy insight. But what I don't get at this point is that why they don't care about Joe Burrow. Because if you care about somebody, you do what's the best interest for them, not what they think is in the best interest for them. What Joe Burrow thought was in best interest with him. Let me play with my homie, bro. Look at Jamar Chase from 2019. We had that career here. National championship. Beat Clemson and Trevor Lawrence. But what was more important? Sometimes what we think we need versus what we actually need. And that's the situation with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. There is absolutely no excuse to why the Bengals organization should have listened to Joe Burrow. Because like Isaiah said, we'll all say this, and I'll say this one more time. In the next 3 to 4 years, Joe Burrow is going to be labeled a bust. Because the Bengals organization will not help Joe Burrow be protected. Even though I love the Chiefs losing in the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes looking terrible. Because I'm a Broncos fan. It still goes back to the same point. Nobody can disagree. Offensive line, I believe, is the most important position in the NFL. I understand you need the quarterback, defensive receivers. All those on the offense, return to quarterback, receiver, running back, fullback, tight end, defensive players will never see the full potential of a team because you don't have the offensive line protecting the quarterback. So the quarterback doesn't have time to make a decision in the pocket, learn how to get out of the pocket. I'm ashamed of the Bengals. I'm not a Bengals fan. But as Bengals fan that's ever going to watch this video, let me know how y'all feel. Because no matter what happens, folks, the Bengals, I don't believe they won a Super Bowl, and they never will. Unless somehow they get new ownership. Joe Burrow will not reach the playoffs. Not because he isn't capable. Joe Burrow is very capable of taking the Bengals to the playoffs. But it's not him that's failing the organization. It's the organization that is failing him. It is the organization that's going to continue to fail Joe Burrow. Next 44 years, he's going to be labeled a bust. And the Bengals are going to draft another quarterback. And the exact same thing is going to happen again. So Joe Burrow, I'm not going to feel bad when you get sacked time and time again. Why would I feel bad about a quarterback getting sacked? Think about it. If Joe Burrow started all 16 games and stayed healthy, I believe he would have been the most rookie sacked quarterback of all time. There's some crazy stat like that. 30, 40 times? Then barely halfway through a season of your rookie year. The franchise, now mind you folks, the Bengals, their best offensive line weapon in Andrew Whitworth in the 2017 offseason. 2017 offseason. What do they do with him? Do they keep him? No, you finally have a good offensive line you've had since the beginning of his career. And what do? Now, you trade him to the Los Angeles Rams. What do the Rams do about a year or two later? They appear in the Super Bowl. That's simple. I'm not saying once you find one offensive lineman, you go into the Super Bowl. But as long as his ownership is here, nothing will change. And Joe Burrow, I can't feel bad for you getting sacked time and time again. You care more about hanging out with Joe Burrow than having success on the field. You're a number 1 overall pick. And you better live up to it. Because quarterbacks nowadays get better faster. So the expectations are higher. So the patience is wearing thin. And when you care about playing with your bros instead of staying healthy, dude, you can't be surprised. And don't be, I'm frustrated with the Bengals. And you should be. But at the same time, it's also your fault. You wanted Jamar Chase. And now you got him. I just will never understand the life of me why the Bengals think that they're an organization in the NFL. You're lucky. You're somehow licensed to be. It is an absolute joke, travesty, and a dumpster fire. Christian Wilson, I've said the same thing, and somehow I've gotten flack for it. Cam Newton, to me, has always been overrated. That's exactly what I've been saying. It's like the thing about it now is that people say, look at Cam, what did he went to the Super Bowl. Wait, I give him full credit. Okay? People are like, look at the few years before when he made the playoffs. It wasn't because he was so great, because that division was so weak in 2012, 2013, 2014. Were the Bucs doing anything? Wasn't that a time when they had Rex Grossett, I believe, or Mike Clinton, or another quarterback people forgot about, and Josh Freeman? The Bucs weren't doing anything in that division. The Saints were quite after that year or two of the issues. Were the Falcons really doing much? This is what I try to understand here is like the overhype of Cam Newton. I can say, I hope he proves me wrong. But at this point, being in his early 30s, Cam Newton is not going to change as a quarterback. He's a phenomenal dude. But I think people get this notion that just because I'm critical of or anybody, just because you're critical of them as a player, doesn't mean you're critical of them as a person. Those are two absolutely different things. Maybe Burrow will roll out more to throw to his buddy Chase. No, that would be interesting to hear him rolling out to his offensive player Chase. The problem is, will this offensive line hold up enough for Joe Burrow to have somehow enough time or any opportunity to get it out of the pocket to throw it to Jamar Chase? No, the illogical of Joe Burrow thinking that Joe Burrow getting Jamar Chase, thinking they're trying to just somehow mentally in the back of his head, maybe they're trying to recreate Reed 2019. That was one season, a phenomenal season. But now, you're with the Bengals. They don't care about their quarterbacks. They're about as petty, if not more petty, than the Green Bay Packers. They're very petty. They don't care if their quarterbacks. They can post anything on social media. Oh, we love our quarterback. No, you don't. Because if you really cared about your quarterback, you would ignore what he said, and you would do what's best for him versus what his emotions are saying. This is why you should never make a business decision, a football decision, based on emotions. That's what Joe Burrow did, and that's exactly what the Cincinnati Bengals did, listening to him and drafting his homie in the first round. James Gonzalez comes in to say, I lost respect for Cam Newton. Didn't go for the fumble in the Super Bowl. I couldn't agree more. This is a Super Bowl. I mean, Josh Allen wouldn't do that. So I don't want to hear the excuse and acting like a brat in the presser after the Super Bowl. Couldn't agree more. Like I'm not saying he's a brat. I think he's a cool dude. He does a lot for the community, and I have nothing but respect for him as a human being. But I'm critical of him as a quarterback and not a Mannix. I have no right to judge. It says it in the Bible here. So I think the negative notion here is that the false notion is that, oh my gosh, I'm critical of somebody as a player. Oh my gosh, I must think he's a horrible person. No, I think he's a phenomenal dude. He's a guy I could see maybe pairing up one day for my own charity foundation. Who knows? But as a quarterback, he doesn't have what it takes to be a starter. The problem is there's nothing wrong with being mobile. There's nothing wrong with being a mobile running quarterback. But if that is your bread and butter, you won't win a Super Bowl. You say, oh, look at Patrick Mahomes. Well, also, Patrick Mahomes was a phenomenal passer. That's the thing. He's very mobile, but a phenomenal passer and is great in the pocket. That's what people tend to forget. Oh, look, examples like Patrick Mahomes and others. What did I also talk about Cam Newton? Great runner. But he wasn't a good passer in terms of he wasn't accurate. But that's the exact opposite of Patrick Mahomes. Great runner out of the pocket. Great decision in the pocket. But he's also an accurate passer here again. The 2020 NFL Draft just came around the corner here. And I hope you all enjoyed. But the NFL Draft extravaganza episode is up on Anchor. Only about 4 hours of it's on there because Anchor, I think, has a limit of 4 hours total for each episode to be posted. So y'all feel free to go check that out here and let us check out the podcast here on our website here and on your podcast app today on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on all your podcasts and social media needs here. There's a couple more of these as we kind of move on, but let's address some comments. James Gonzalez says, and I could agree with you more, my man. I never want to hear Cam Newton and I never want to hear Cam Newton in Hall of Fame in the same sentence ever. ... I couldn't agree more, my man. If somehow if some crazy reporter out there says that, I would be ashamed. Because I know one reporter that was a guest on First Take a while back. Ryan Hollins is a type of guy that would say that again. Talking about him as a sports broadcaster, not a person. But his sports takes are just insane. That's something that I think he would definitely say on First Take. Begin the NFL Draft extravaganza. Make sure to check out all of our social media stuff. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If you want to check out any new podcast episode pretty much every single day or every couple of days, feel free to go check it out on Anchor. We had 2 interviews today, and these next coming weekend, we got 2 more interviews. We have a really stacked at May for that one, dude, 2020 on the MI6 Sports Network. We have a total of 9 interviews this month. Okay, we're at 9 interviews coming on the MI6 Sports Network, right on that one dude 2020. Well, this NFL draft was crazy. This NFL draft was insane. The draft show was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it and had a good time. Before we end tonight's quick program here, 35 to 40-minute program, if y'all have any football questions here in the next couple moments, I'm more than happy to answer any of your football questions before we end tonight's program. But I almost forgot. Thank you, guys. The Isaiah Roast Sesh is back. Folks, I have a couple of messages here that I want to read. The Isaiah Roast Sesh is back here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, congrats on all the interviews. All credit goes to God in putting in the work. People don't really realize how much work it takes, but it's a lot of fun. James Gonzalez, you know about that with your podcast. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. People might not agree with, oh, you should do that. No, you do what you love, and that's all that matters. Christian Wilson says, what do you think about the Cowboys drafted mostly defense in this draft? It's what they need, because now you think in 2019 offseason, they paid DeMarcus Lawrence. I think they should have an arrest warrant out for him, because he are missing persons report, because apparently he retired last year. Oh, wait, he played in the NFL. They needed to address defense. That was the biggest problem here, Chris, because, again, we talk about offensive matching defensive production and vice versa. Defensive production needs to match the offensive production. But the problem is that now the defense last year, I believe, was one of the worst defenses in NFL history. 40-plus points a game, and they needed to address that defense. That was smart by Jerry Jones. Well, the question is now, Dak Prescott coming back from his injury, can he be 100%? And Tanner, you came up with a good question, man. I'm going to have to answer honestly. Okay, James Gonzalez says, smart by Dallas. Again, Tanner, thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday night or early Sunday morning. Tanner comes in to say here on the MI6 Sports Network, you think Sam Ehlinger would be a bust? See, here's the frustration part. He has the capability, but I said whatever team he goes to, he's going to be like the Taysom Hill of that franchise. But Jonathan Taylor, Sam Ehlinger, Carson Wentz on the exact same team, you could see this team potentially having like a safe-side team in terms of a gadget player. I think Sam Ehlinger will not be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But what I do say is that he's not going to make that. I'm sorry, because the problem is, the notion here is that, or not the notion, but my frustration part, Tanner, so I'm kind of long answer, but I want to explain it, is that my problem with Sam Ehlinger and the Texas Longhorns last year, with many, many problems, of course, Tom Herron being the head coach then, is that their bread and butter, their strength was playing from behind. And you especially can't do that in college. You definitely can't do it in the NFL. Habits in college have to be addressed in the NFL. But to summarize my answer, as a quarterback, I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to be a bust, but he's not going to be great, because he's drafted in, I believe, the 5th or 6th round by the Indianapolis Colts. So he'll be, I think if they use him as a gadget player, as a running back on like 3rd and short, as a blocking fullback, as a potential quarterback that does a pass here and there, I think he'd be great. I think he'd be a phenomenal gadget player. He would be a phenomenal gadget player. But the problem is the way that he plays in the NFL. It's not, or sorry, in college, it's not going to last. So as a quarterback, you could say it's not a bust, but it's not a success. I really hope that kind of answer your questions there. James Gonzalez says, if Dak wins a Super Bowl, then that would be a great story. It would be. I know, Christy, and all of y'all, I have been very what you call critical of Dallas. But I'm a fan of Dak, not because he's a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. His story off the field, I don't know why or how somebody wouldn't love that story of Dak Prescott. Mississippi State coming to first over his story, but unfortunately his mom passed away, his brother unfortunately committed suicide. I mean, my gosh, his story about being so openly aware about his mental health and making mental health more, let's say, more accessible, but more important. A lot of times we kind of ignore it as players, and sometimes, like I told their Steve today, or Dan, sorry, Dan today, is that a lot of times we idolize these athletes and we tend to forget these are people just like us. They go through things. They have girlfriends, boyfriends, they have kids, they go through divorces, they go through things just like us. And I love Dak is a good dude. Christian, I couldn't agree more. Dak is a phenomenal dude. And I'm rooting for him as a Christian, as a man. I'm rooting for him. But something with Dallas, I don't know what it is. Regardless, if somehow the Cowboys miss the playoffs or fail in the playoffs, it's not going to be all on Dak. It's going to be because of that defense. I know I understand the drafting on defense, but for some reason, no matter who the draft, sometimes the defense is hot or cold. Sean Lee finally retired. Again, he was a more injury-prone defensive player. Never truly reached his full potential. Tanner Harris says facts. Couldn't agree more, my man. Just because, again, Sam Ehlinger could be a great gadget player, not a quarterback, because you drafted him in the 5th or 6th round not to be a starter, not really to be a backup. You're here to be a gadget player, and that could actually be great for his career. Imagine like an RPO type of play. You have Jonathan Taylor, you have Carson Wentz, and Sam Ehlinger in one play. That could be very interesting. And if Carson Wentz is out for a couple of minutes, you bring him in. That would be great. You have the weapons, you have the offensive line, you have the defense that works out. Occasionally coming in to replace Carson Wentz, injury, and an injury on the field, I think that would be great. Other than that, no, I don't think he'd be a bust because they didn't draft him that low for him to be a starter in the NFL. But again, thank you so much for your question, Tanner. But folks, back to the Isaiah Roast Sesh, something we haven't done in a very long time. But tonight we are getting back to it. So, of course, Isaiah Young is spending some time in San Diego for some personal reasons. And he texts me, and it's like, hey, I'm on the beach, and I accidentally, what did he do? He accidentally stepped on a seal on the beach. And, of course, what happens from there, he says, I wasn't even bothering them. I was filming an MI6 Shorts video, and one of the seals to Isaiah, one of the seals started barking at Isaiah, and he freaked out and started running. Now imagine Isaiah Young being chased by a seal. And here again, Pedro here for YouTube. I believe he's a new viewer. Thank you so much for tuning into the show tonight. Make sure you all to share the videos, but thank you so much for tuning in tonight's program, my man. It said BFT and Packers, and what's being happening is serious talks, developed talks about a potential Aaron Rodgers trade. Like I told people, this goes back to 2005. You let Brett Favre bully Aaron Rodgers, and he just let that pent-up anger come time after time. That pent-up anger basically built up. And now that you drafted Jordan Love last year, yes, I did defend it, but now it just realizes that all that pent-up anger from Aaron Rodgers to the organization is now he's letting it out. Anger in your body, folks, can only be held for so long until it basically bursts without a doubt. He says, you can't be serious, Isaiah. Again, I'm talking about how you stepped on a seal, then they started barking at you, you started freaking out, and now you are running away. But again, can you hear me, man? I say you made, buddy. Why he gets his stuff infatuated here again. We'll try that one more time. James Gonzalez says, ha, 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 ha. Aaron Rodgers in Washington, please. No, Washington football team. Again, that's what you were saying right there. It would be great for Aaron Rodgers. But the realistic thing here, folks, is that the Packers would not trade Aaron Rodgers to the NFC. They wouldn't do that at all. Tell me how that would make sense. You're trading to the NFC. There's a chance they could beat you in the playoffs. With how weak the NFC East is who knows. But going back to the Isaiah Roast Sesh before we go to tonight's final thought, we're kind of in tonight's program here. So Isaiah continues on messaging me, and I'll repeat this one more time for people who are now tuning into the show. Isaiah told me I wasn't even bothering them. I was filming an MI6 short video for the YouTube page, and one of the seals starts barking at me, and I freaked out. So imagine Isaiah being chased by a seal on the beach. That to me is absolutely abundantly hilarious. Who really knows at this point? And he continues on to say right here, screw the Phillies, let's go Padres. This is the same guy that picked the Phillies to go to the World Series and win their division. Really, Isaiah. How the tables have turned. Now you're saying, screw the Phillies, let's go Padres. Just because you jump from team to team and to team and to team, it doesn't mean now all of a sudden you can be a Padres fan. The Dodgers aren't going to win it. The heck with them. It is the Padres. Screw the Dodgers. Padres 2021, 2076 champs. Again, it's always a troll. As Isaiah continues to message me, he goes back. It says, a bird pooped on my head. A bird pooped on my head at the beach today. So imagine, folks, that's one of our top fears potentially at the beach is getting pooped on our head by a bird. Imagine how messy and sticky and smelly, how gross it is, and trying to get that out of your hair. That to me is absolutely hilarious. Here he said, bleeping seagulls, I love San Diego so much, why don't they love me? Then he gets on to go back even further. He said, I wore a Chapman jersey out, and this blank in a Dodgers uniform says, go back to the Bay. Dude, this is Dodger town. So what does Isaiah do? He says, I yelled back, see you in the World Series. Really? See you in the World Series? Isaiah, wasn't there somebody that said that potentially needed to be cut by a certain baseball franchise? You gave up on your Phillies, and you gave up on another potential team in Major League Baseball. How the tides have turned. How the tides have turned.
Matt Chapman.
That name does sound very familiar, does it to you, my man? Christian Wilson says, I love my Red Sox. Let's go Padres again. I can't remember. I picked a team to follow in Major League Baseball, and I can't remember. Matthew Solstice picked a team in the comment section. I completely forgot what that team was in Major League Baseball. James Gonzalez comes in to say, oh my Isaiah, in Jane's mind, I couldn't believe it. Isaiah on the beach being chased by a seal. Now imagine, folks, if you've ever watched Finding Dory, I believe it was one of the end credit scenes during the movie. They had one of the seagulls, a really dumb seagull, a seal that people loved the torment and the mess with him because he was really dumb. Imagine that seal chasing after Isaiah on the beach. I don't know why that brings me so much joy. I find it to be absolutely hilarious, and you just never know what can happen with Isaiah Leong and his crazy stories. Is the same guy that got pooped on by a bird today on the beaches of San Diego. That's something none of us ever want to happen. But man, oh man, just watching some of these old Isaiah Roast Sesh videos, let's bring some stuff into new memory or to past memories to bring it back here on the MI6 Sports Network. This next one here, ladies and gentlemen, bringing up some old Isaiah Roast Sesh videos. My man, you proposed to your girlfriend and now you're talking with another girl. Let's see that video.
Hi, Mary. How you doing today? You doing good? Look, it's
My question, now that the video is done, my man Isaiah Leon, out of the studios of San Diego, were you able to get that bird poop out of your hair? That is the question, my man.
First of all, let me say this. It's an honor to be on the show tonight. You know, I'm calling in from vacation right now. Got myself a nice pina colada.
No, you didn't. Are you
Second,
just talking?
no, I actually did. So I'm feeling a little bit, crazy tonight. But, I'm
You
calling
could
in.
you criticize me for saying grab your root beer and Takis, and yet you're drinking a soccer mom drink and drink a fruity beer. So don't even give me that hoopla.
Anyways, I'm calling in from Callan's hometown right now. I know Callan is not in San Diego. He's in somewhere in Los Angeles right now, so I'm holding it down for him here. But it was a great day. It was a really good day. The bird poop, I can't confirm or deny if that happened. No
Oh, I
comment.
already said it on air. I already told people about it on air, so you can't deny it. And I have the text and the screenshots, so you can't deny it, my man. And James Gazelle says, I knew it. It's history. Of course, who knows what type of fruity drinks he has, but we already told you about you being chased by the seal at the beach. Did it chase you for that long, or did it just eventually give up?
All right, funny story about that is that I was there, right? And I was filming an MI6 Shorts video to try to talk about my Niners drafting Trey Lance. And when all of a sudden I hear, "Rrr, rrr, rrr," and I'm like, all of a sudden I just freak out and I just start running away because I was like, oh, not again, not again, not again.
Dude,
Hey man, you could add that to the GIF collection right there. We have a seal voice now.
I just can't imagine, man. I was telling people, imagine that seal from Finding Dory, the really dumb one that people were tormenting and teasing. That would be the one that's chasing you on the beach, man. I just can't believe that. And Christian Wilson kind of agrees with our sentiments here. Starts laughing emoji, and of course another laughing emoji. I couldn't agree more, but some of these seem familiar. Do you remember this cakewalk, my dude?
Me, Callan. I honestly think that I will cakewalk through everyone in this league. And
let's go back, and this is a quick Isaiah Roast Sesh, so we're bringing it back, man. Here and there, we'll be getting it when we don't have to.
Excuse me, when I'm on my trip. Come on, man.
It's not. I didn't know you were gonna come on. Again, it's more than happy to have you on anytime. But we're talking about the basketball league, the one that you talked so much garbage about. Let's go see if we can find that here into the video records. I just was watching this just a little bit ago. Excuse me, folks, if I'm trying to find this, but man, if we're gonna talk some trash, at least 100% guarantee that you're gonna be able to back it up. But for some reason, I'm having a hard time finding it. I just saw it here in just.
By the way, folks, that video of me ranting about Trey Lance on the beach today while the Seaho, started barking at me, it's not going to be aired on MI6. It's been deleted. So
I saved all your videos, so I can just put them in the StreamYard, right? So they're actually not gone. They're going to see them in the next 20, 30 minutes once we're done with this quick video here. And they'll be uploaded to StreamYard, and they're saved in my phone. So you can no longer hide. I found it.
Diego,
right
I love you so much, but why do you hate me? Why do you hate me, man? I'm trying my hardest to embrace this city. Why? Why do you hate me?
And
Well, the reason why I was waving that white flag just now was because y'all really let me get Giannis with the number 3 pick, the guy most regarded as the best player on the planet.
Well, you would have gotten LeBron James. So,
well, I would take Giannis because LeBron is going to be resting half the season. And then y'all really let me get John Morant and Devin Booker. I mean, Callan, forget even needing to play the games.
Guess Isaiah is on mute. Since I was going to say, Siegel must have been a Trey Lance fan. Ha ha. Who really knows at this point in time, man? The Angels hate you in San Diego. I don't know what it is, man. Isaiah's not a person I would ever hate or anybody. But for some reason, you stepped on a seal, then or a seagull, then it's a seal. Man, all I gotta say is be aware of your surroundings.
I have spoken.
That's
John,
all
honestly,
I have to
tomorrow
say.
when I go swimming, I don't even know. I might get eaten by a dolphin. Who knows what happened? Because the seals are mad at me. The seagulls do stuff to me. Now the dolphins and other sea creatures living in the ocean, they might be plotting something against me. So I'm up against the animals right now of San Diego. I don't know what I did, but
Who knows, man?
please not a shark, James. Please not a shark.
No, that would be maybe a not. You've never been stinged by a at all, right?
Never have been, but please don't jinx that.
Well, I didn't say anything. I don't wish that upon nobody. I don't want you to be on your own way to get that sting to go away or anything. But again, folks, this was supposed to be a quick show, but I did 50 minutes nonstop, and then Isaiah came in, which is all good and fun. So, folks, we'll end today's show. Thank you all so much for watching. But before we kind of go right here, we're going to this evening's final thoughts. Sorry, I've done like 2 to 3 episodes today, so I'm a little bit tired. Episodes are always a lot of fun. This one was kind of last minute. So I did 2 interviews. We got 2 people for next weekend. I already told which one of them was going to be reoccurring to Isaiah, but don't say anything yet because I'll post it on Monday. Then we have another person coming on next Saturday. So it's going to be a great show. And another reoccurring guest that came on last year in May is coming back onto the show in the next couple of weeks. On that one, dude, 2020, to change this off, Isaiah is the anti-Ace Ventura. Ha, ha, ha. You know what? At this point, man, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But again, my final thoughts is before we really go into that, I want to thank James Gonzalez, Christy Wilson, a new viewer and Patreon man from the YouTube page. Thank you so much for tuning into tonight's program. Again, Tanner, my man, for coming in. Also, again, this late at night for coming onto the show. And in terms of like commenting in the comment section, watching and viewing and commenting does mean a lot more than y'all know. It's very much appreciated. I can't thank y'all enough. But that one, dude, 2020, signing off. Have a good one. I'll speak with y'all very soon.
Walk, come on. You better come on. Out. Come on.
What is up, y'all?
Corn, I don't know, man, if I have seen someone, and I think I said this a while back when he first came on the network, was I don't know if I've seen someone with the drive and passion to make it in the industry like I've seen with you. And
that's my boy, that dude 2020. I like the name.
The drive and fire. And
before we finish up and actually leave, I apologize about the end of the show. Say the Wi-Fi cut out, but you're watching me. Man, Isaiah Roast Sesh is definitely a lot of fun, but I promise y'all. Have a good one. Peace.
What is up, y'all?
Corn, you know, I don't know, man, if I have seen someone, and I think I said this a while back when he first came on the network, was I don't know if I've seen someone with the drive and passion to make it in the industry like I've seen with you. And
you know, that's my boy, that dude 2020. I like the name.
The drive and fire and passion in some people is not quite there for this type of an industry because it's cutthroat. It's very, you know, up and down roller coaster of emotion. Also, I don't know if I've seen a person, though, who probably has been so appreciative of a chance that they were given. Corn, like I've said, though, man, is, you know, again, you're one of the new guys on this network. And again, I know that you're very appreciative, though, of me kind of giving you the shot here. But
how did you get blocked by LeBron James on Twitter?
I don't know if I've seen so much drive and energy and passion from someone maybe other than me for this industry. And
LeBron is truly a rising star in this industry. He knows his stuff. You know, he's not afraid to go at people, and he's a guy that you want to go to bat for. And I'm so thankful that he's part of our network.